obviously what we're going to make this podcast about is going to be a little bit about our story. I'm going to give you a good intro because I know you're too humble to be gassing yourself up.
Appreciate that.
Louis owns a digital marketing agency. Started it when you were 21, accidentally fell into marketing, essentially getting paid to get app downloads at university.
Yeah.
With that, learned the skills required to influence people and acquire customers. And in his first month when leaving uni, made 36K with his online agency, which is impressive, man.
Straight out of uni. Thank you for that.
Straight out of uni. Yeah. You got to gas me up now.
No pressure. So today I'm sat here with Cobi. He has a background in fashion. He started a clothing brand at age 20 years old that was featured in Vogue. He's since used those digital marketing skills that he acquired building that brand to build a digital marketing agency, which is now turning 5 figures on a monthly basis. And you exited the previous company, or sold shares in the previous company.
Yeah, sold shares.
Which helped you found the marketing agency you run today.
One thing that I think I really underestimated, even me starting the agency and just actually having ideas, is living environment. So this is a great case study, right? So I moved to Manchester and I was worried that I'd kind of have no friends when I first moved to Manchester. I thought I might be able to go out with a couple of girls here and there. But like, you know, making guy friends, I thought would be tough. So one of the things that I'm so grateful that I did, literally coming here by myself, was I would just kind of slide in the DMs of like people that I admired or people that I knew that I'd have similar interests. And here there's just so many entrepreneurs or people doing like-minded things.
Everyone is, you know, any entrepreneur around here that's a similar age to us, if you DM them and say, do you want to meet up, maybe we could share ideas. I don't think I've been rejected by anyone yet, really.
Just the girls.
Just the
girls.
girls.
You got
Just the
girls. Just me.
But me and you, that's how me and you met.
Yeah. Yeah, we literally met just by, you know, me dropping you an Instagram message. We've ended up going for a beer or a burger or whatever. And the value that I think you get from having friends that are trying to, you know, they're on the same path as you.
Me and you sometimes will just text each other and say, like, what's gone on? How have you found this problem? Have you overcome this challenge yet?
That's exactly the main benefit from it. You know, you can bounce ideas off me that I think I'll be able to give you a different perspective, but one coming from the same place, and I'll be able to ask you things that I know maybe these are problems that you may have already had. I look around and I think it's more in my hometown and I don't know, less so in the cities. Everyone's hanging around with the same people that they were friends with 10 years ago. And to me, that's a big L. And it's not because I'm saying you need to cut all your friends, but if you met a lot of these people now, you have nothing in common. And that's a good thing. You know, you should have new friends, and those friends should be doing similar things to you. Otherwise, you're not growing. You know, you're going to become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I want to be around the fucking winners. And that was literally why I moved here.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. I spend most of my time around business people, but I guess it's not even really out of choice. It's just through.
But that's what you attract. You attract your tribe.
Yeah. I mean, you're always doing business
so you're
with
welcome.
People. You're welcome. You're on this podcast.
So are you not a bit scared then? So obviously me and you, our entire business is based on social media. Is it not going to get to the point where these algorithms and AI are so intelligent that they don't need me or you? The algorithm is going to be able to do it to the best. And if so, are we going to be unemployed?
That's a good point. I guess then you get to a point of who's got the biggest budget. But then I don't think companies like Facebook would want to get it to a level where it's just who's putting the most budget in. Because then there would be no competition.
This is what I view AI like. So when the tractors first came along, all of the farmers were thinking, oh no, we're going out of business. But what happened? They're sat on top of the tractors. They're kind of running it like that. And that's what I think we'll end up using AI for. I think it's going to be one of those things. It's not going to replace, but it's going to change. And, you know, the market leaders that are using it for social media, they're going to be the people sitting on top of the tractor.
Yeah, it's the people that are spending the time understanding, learning AI. I think when it came in, like you say, copywriters, I think they got a bit worried. Like, this has just completely replaced me. And as time went on, they understood they've got to put more things into AI to get the correct answers out. They've then got to adjust it. So I think the copywriters that spend time learning how to use AI will be vastly more valuable than the ones that don't. And the people that don't bother to learn it just won't.
So in conclusion,
they won't have jobs. We're not fucked. We're not fucked. As long as you embrace AI, I don't think we're fucked.
Well, what's actually the main reason you started your marketing agency? And you can't just say, like, I wanted to make dough.
The reason I started the marketing
Mate, hasn't
agency-
even paid me for the studio yet, actually.
Yeah,
That's
fair.
Fat invoice.
We'll wait till afterwards.
coming.
We'll wait to see how it goes first.
What's the reason? What's success to you in that realm?
I think there was success with affiliate marketing with larger companies and the apps. And then I thought it's very difficult as a startup business to consistently acquire large blue chip brands. It's far easier to acquire smaller customers. I saw it as more of a reliable income and an easier way to grow a business going after the smaller business.
See, it's interesting you answer this like this because you're telling me the how. I want to know the why. What's the end goal?
What's the end goal?
So what are you even looking at success as? Is it location freedom? Is it just money?
I don't think...
You know, because I'm sure you know this as well. I'm speaking to a lot of guys that are like millionaires and they wake up in the morning saying, fuck.
But they don't want to be...
They don't want to be there. They hate their lives. And I wouldn't swap that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people take on a lot of responsibility and then realize what they've done. And they can't backtrack on it because they're responsible for people's incomes, people's lives, mortgages. People have got things to pay for.
So are you even aware why you're... Because you've swapped a 9 to 5 to like a midnight to midnight. It's consuming all day, right? You're switched on. What's the point then?
Do you know what? I don't think I could just see it any other way. If I think I got home after a 9 to 5 and sat on the sofa to watch TV, I would just think, what's the next thing I can try and sell? What can I try and think of? I don't know. I don't think there's a reason why I'm doing it or there's an end goal to it. I just want to build something successful, sustainable, and
forever unfinished, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the case. What about you? Why are you building your agency? What's the end goal for you?
I really hate the idea, and it sounds bad, but I think a 9 to 5 is the modern like slavery. And I think, to be fair, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, that is brutal.
That's actually
because 99% of people watching this.
Ask me, yeah, fuck. Ask me that again.
Fucking hell, man. Oh, I knew you were gonna go out with some absolute gold, man.
Yeah, no. Okay, so
what was the question?
about what's the reason you're even doing it?
Okay. Fuck. Okay. So, what is the reason that you are growing your business? What is the end goal for you?
It's interesting, right? Because I'm going to answer that question and I'm going to say freedom. But then I've essentially, I'd have more freedom if I just did a 9 to 5. I'll straight up work like midnight to midnight. And to the point that all I do is work. Like, I have no hobbies either. My only hobby is I go gym, and I strictly won't go gym unless it's before 8 a.m. or after.
I remember you
PM.
saying that if it's outside of working hours, then you can see it being a leisure activity. But if it's inside working hours, it's deducting from your time actually working. So
yeah, it's not a flex. Like, unless you're getting paid to like go gym, or like you absolutely love that, which I don't. Like, using the hours when the world's awake, I think that's a waste of time. To me, like, I want to be doing that to like push my dreams, and I'm trying to change like my family tree. So like, I'm not trying to waste those hours when I could be pushing closer to my goal in the gym. And like, I'm very obsessive with this stuff. Like, I think I'm a bit weird. So even how I'm eating, in the morning,
convenience.
It's about pace. It's about pace. Like, I'm selling my time in the same way you're selling your time. I don't want to waste out on like low return on investment activities like eating. So unless I'm taking a girl out to like a nice restaurant or I'm cooking for someone, breakfast I'm going to be eating cereal and a protein shake fast. Lunchtime I'm eating that at the office, or I'm buying a meal deal. Fast paced.
We need to go into the office in a minute.
And then dinner I'm cooking it, but I will, eat off a paper plate, so I don't have to waste time, because I'm so conscious that...
That's smart, actually. I've seen you doing that.
I've seen what I can do if you give me an hour. So like, I don't want to waste that cooking some chicken dippers.
Let's go into the coffees. So I only heard about coffees through you. I think you've made this up, really.
Should I trademark it?
Yeah, you need to trademark
the
coffees.
£3.
In fact, you should start a place in Manchester called the Coffees.
That's a hell of an idea.
Wow, that's actually... I'm looking into my camera right now because that might actually be a big one.
The Coffees.
The Coffees.
Make it fucking sick.
Wait a minute. Yeah, go on. Explain what the Coffees is, because
get your hand in those tight pockets then, and we'll make one.
People watching might be like, "Hold on, that's a great idea."
Yeah. So if anyone listens to that, we're trademarking that from today. Yeah, Coffees, coffee office. So I think the Coffees is decreasing because the price of coffee is increasing, and I'm going to tell you why I don't mind dropping £8 on a coffee. So your environment and the people you're around and your inspiration definitely impacts your thoughts and your state. And there's no way, what we're doing is creative work. You cannot be in a state of, elite creativity if you're just staring at a wall. I think the worst place for inspiration is when you're working from home.
Yeah, it's horrible.
When your place of rest is your also place of hustle and work, you're not going to be having those ideas. I'll go sit at the top floor in the Hilton, not because I'm trying to look bougie, but I'm around money. I'm around people that, they're in there, even if they're just like, flexing or they're not.
And the environment.
They look rich. I'm seeing the Rolexes and all that.
The environment is nice as well. I mean, you might spend £8 for a coffee, but realistically, what do I spend, like £2,000 a month on an office?
Yeah.
So if I just said, right, everyone, here's 60, 70 quid a day, go up the top of Hilton and have a coffee.
You'll stay there for longer, you'll work for longer, and you'll feel more like a winner. Because you're surrounding yourself with like around the wealth, and I believe in like that's gonna rub off. You're gonna see the habits. You're gonna start, even if you're just pretending, like you're gonna start thinking like you are one of these. I think I'm a big believer, and I took this from my background in sport. Like, you can manipulate the brain by manipulating the body. So if you're like, and this is where the uniform concept comes from. If you're dressing like a businessman, someone that's very smart, very presentable, you're gonna feel, extra smart. You're probably gonna have extra ideas. You're gonna walk around a little bit different.
Yeah, shoulders back, chin up.
But what's your take on that? Because I think the modern flex is like, being the man, and maybe like, you can just walk around, wear whatever. Versus, back in the day, it used to be like you got to wear a suit and stand up straight. What's your perspective on that? Do you think that impacts your mood and state?
The way that you dress at work.
Does that have an impact on performance? There are two sides to this.
I know a lot of business owners that are turning like £2 to £5 million a year, and they have never worn a suit in their lives.
Well, that's when you're on the real like Zuckerberg, fuck you, man.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know really. I feel like there's a lot of people that do just dress however they want for work, and they take that into the culture of their team as well, and they still do very well. And I think nowadays it's going more into you can kind of wear whatever you want in work time. I have one rule in the art. There's only one
black.
Rule. Yeah, I always wear black. Buzz cut, black hair, slit in the eyebrow.
Louis was actually fuming yesterday that we didn't do the poddy because he's just had a fresh trim.
Yeah, I had to get a fresh trim for the podcast.
Fuming. 1 day old now.
But I forgot what I was going to say then.
About the uniforms, does it impact your performance?
Suit? No, I don't think so.
I kind of look at physical presentation as the same way as Instagram is used. Instagram is a way of perception managing. So straight off the jump, right? And this is why it's important I stress to my clients that we do social media management now. We're going to make your Instagram look nice. And the reason for that is in the same way how having good physical presentation is important. If I wasn't running ads and I'm actually walking into businesses, giving you a pitch.
Yeah.
If I look like a homeless man, regardless of the value that I can actually provide you, you're telling me to go away.
Definitely.
And this is the same with why clients should be investing in their Instagrams. Your Instagram is essentially the same as me walking into a business, giving a cold pitch. That person is going to look at your Instagram, and rightly or wrongly, in the same way we do this in real life, they're going to judge exactly what you're about, or if they want to deal with you within the first 3 seconds. What's one soft skill which you didn't think would help sales, but does help sales, especially when it comes to dealing with people?
Soft skill.
Yeah, so it could be like, I read 50 Cent's book. It was talking about how having a nice watch, rightly or wrongly, can get you in certain doors because it's going to give you that instant status of this is someone I should be dealing with. In the same way that if your car's on fire and someone pulls up to you at a red light and he's in an ice cream truck and he goes, you're airing him if you're driving a Porsche, let's say. But if that guy pulls up in the freshest Lambo and goes like that, you're going to roll your window down because you're going to think that he's got something of value to say. And that's what I think a lot of the time perception managing is used for. It's just get you in the door. And then it's about, give me some value. But
that's a soft skill?
I would say being elite at perception managing, appearance wise, looking like
definitely
you're someone that can give value.
Definitely
is a big key to sales, regardless of actually the information.
Yeah. if you turn up looking the part, I guess.
That's my one. I want your
But
one.
I feel like big business owners see through things very quickly.
Yeah, at a certain level,
there
it
has been,
is, regardless,
yeah. I've been in some meetings where someone will turn up, and it doesn't matter what they're kind of like dressed in or how they're presenting themselves. They'll get shot a question, and then that's it. They don't know the answer to it. So it's, yeah.
So if we do turn this into a long form, we definitely have swapped outfits to make it look like this is 2 different days, so we can get more shorts.
If we do turn it into a long form, enjoy watching that.
Right then. What is one thing that you know is not good for you that you still do? And this doesn't necessarily have to just be business, or it could be like something that you neglect, something that, right, I should be doing that, but I'm not doing that, and you're aware of it.
Investment. So running of 2 companies is successful. They're both profitable. But then seeking advice for investment is something I'm doing. Actually, tomorrow I am going into a Zoom call with a property developer, and he's going to explain how to invest my money into property. So I have taken steps into it, but I have neglected it for at least 2 years now, and I've really needed to put money in other places. What about you? Have you got anything that you're neglecting at the moment that you feel you should pick up on?
In regards to the investing thing, I've always kind of thought the best investment is like the investment in you. Can you increase your skill set, and as a byproduct of that will increase your income? Yeah. And that's something which I've really took on board the last year. So I buy a lot of online courses, and some of them are complete shit.
Yeah, you got to choose through them to get to a good one.
2 of them, I've changed my life. And in a short period of time as well. So I would say they're the best investments.
Do you want to shout them out?
No,
no, you don't want to. Yeah, because I suppose you spent hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, maybe on courses.
I don't want to shout them out because I'm competitive. That's gonna be my competition in a few years. I'm not there now, but I'm not there. True, that's my competition. One thing that I neglect that I know is bad for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think my number 1 distraction is? And I think being around the city, you're in a good environment where you're around a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff, but like. I don't know, that like the girls, the party distraction, yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Not that I go partying a lot.
I think it's a good thing, though. I think to start with, there's a huge pressure on hustling, trying to get to a point where you're employing people. You've got, a property to get to that level. And then once you're settled, then you realize you do need a bit of a weekend to enjoy yourself and reset yourself for the week. Because if you do 24/7 work, 7 days a week, you do burn out.
I need to have at least one day where I go a bit nuts because I'm running it hard.
Yeah.
In the week and on like definitely the Sunday usually as well. So I need one day to kind of release. And
definitely do.
And I don't
always do a Sunday. Yeah. So I work Monday to Saturday, and then Sunday, no work, no replies to anyone. Because if I don't, Monday comes around and I'm exhausted. So you have to have a chill.
I want to hear your take on this because obviously you're in a relationship and obviously I'm single. So for me, it's for girls is a bad motivation, right? But I use it as a good source of motivation. I use it to benefit me, right? Because here in my hometown, if you meet, I don't know, an entrepreneur who making 6 figures or whatever, that's quite rare. Right, whereas here, there are so many people doing that. If you want to, really like make it big in money, like, or
if you
not
want to get to blue tick status financially, you've got to put some graft in, and then you get.
Yeah, so like you're not a big fish just because you do quite well at business because there's so many people here. So the girl that you want, back home, like you're competing against the local Chad, like probably some of my mates, but the girl that you want here. You're genuinely competing against like Jack Grealish. Like you have no choice but to be a winner. And to some degree, as a single man, I feel somewhat pressured by that. And that's a terrible motivation, but it fuels me to be the best version of myself.
That's fair enough. I think if it motivates you positively, then that's a good thing. But I wouldn't let it pressure you too much.
There's a story of my friend who's just started his own electrical business. And it was a slow start. He wasn't making a lot of money. And his missus essentially was sugar mummying him.
Yeah.
And I just thought the fact that he's got that,
shout out.
He's got that safety net of, you can go do whatever you want. You can fuck it up real bad, and you're gonna have this person here no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
That's a superpower. And
Well,
I've never
yeah,
experienced that, but you must have this.
Yeah. So when I started my agency, I'm still with the same girlfriend now. So I didn't really have much going on.
That's a good girl, man.
That is, she saw the come up. So yeah, I didn't really have much going on really. Starting out, wasn't making much revenue, wasn't paying myself, anything like that for a good year, maybe a year and a half. And now we're 3-4 years in, and
that's the best place to get the girl, right? Because you've had her from when you were probably making nothing. You like, there could have been a scenario where you would have made no money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Many months, like 6 months.
And it's worked in her favor because I know you treat her right, and like you like pay for the bills and the stuff, which I think is actually a man's job. How do you feel actually about that? I love talking about this stuff.
The whole provider thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if you're capable of providing for someone and looking after someone, and you're in a position to do so, then I think
regardless of position to do so, do you think that's your job as a man?
Yes, and I think I got that from my dad. So my dad's always been a provider. You know, bringing money back to the household. Not a playboy, I didn't see this. But I think me and my brother both, that might be a reason why I'm an entrepreneur, to be honest. Maybe that's just clicked. You asked me that earlier. But
what's the reason?
Watching him go out, he's got a good job, he brings good money home. I think me and Sam both looked up to him and thought, right, well, we've got to do something like that. And he's a very intelligent man. He's very intelligent.
For me, my dad owns like a quite successful like hairdressing salon. And the thought of me not having my business, when I kind of view that as that's expected, because I've seen him as that, and I look at that and think, oh, I need to be doing that.
This just turned into a therapy session.
Maybe, but like I feel somewhat pressured to do that.
Yeah. I think that might be it. I mean, you do look up to the father figure in the household.
Each generation you're supposed to outdo, or at least carry on like the name. So I want to level mine up.
I guess there is a little bit about. I think there is a little bit about.
Regardless of how unfortunate it is.
And if I told my dad that as well, like I'm just trying to.
That's fucking
do better. I think he'd be like, good. That's what I want. I think I'd want my kid to do the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that I gotta get a girlfriend first, but
when you get one, I'm sure you look after him. What are some key lessons that you've learned from failures you've had in business? Because everybody fails in business. I think it's the way you pick yourself up from those and go forward that makes you successful. So what failures have you had, and how have you turned those into future successes from the lessons that you've had?
I think some of the most painful failures, they hurt at the time, but when you look back and you can see more of the jigsaw put together, they were necessary. So one that I've had, I've been completely broke, like zero in the bank account twice in my life, and I'm only 26. And I was literally one day, I've always kind of thought I'd get out of it. And one time it went really wrong with my clothing brand, and I was just crying on my bed and like to my mum. And looking back now, that made me think, right, you got to change your focus because it's not particularly working. And I thought I was going to be a millionaire from my clothing brand. That was my initial goal. And now I've realized that the purpose of my clothing brand was to teach me how to advertise, which I'm much better at. Yeah. And that played a part in my life. And now I've got something which I've got a recession-proof skill. It was from starting my clothing brand, but essentially my clothing brand didn't go the way I wanted it to go, which was actually broke my heart. But those failures can be the best things that ever happened to you.
Yeah. And obviously the skills that you've learned in taking risks, because I think that's a huge skill that people overlook. Like if you're capable of saying, look, I'm going to spend £5,000 on this and I'm unsure if it's going to work, that's something that 99.9% of people won't do. But if you've learned that skill by investing in your clothing brand, something failing, you're still here. So if you can go and do that again and it does work, you might make £40,000 from it. So that's a huge skill that you'll have learned from doing that.
Your risk tolerance is interesting, because I think I take quite big risks, and I speak to someone like you and I think there's levels to this game.
There's levels to this.
How do you manage that? Because you are quite fearless, I think, with that stuff.
I think to start with, when you're starting out with an agency, you spend a little bit of money and it feels like a big risk. But then once you get further into it and you've got people that you've got people's livelihoods depending on you to pay for them, that sort of thing, you have to take risks. It's your duty for them to do those
well,
things.
you're potentially getting someone evicted from their house. That's a different type of pressure. You know, I work with more contractors.
Yeah.
You've got like in-house staff. And the reason I prefer contractors is because the incentives are aligned. It's more on a commission basis. But with you are able to get someone out specifically is working on your stuff. And obviously, if you've got a good manager, like you're really good at that, to be fair. Like, I think that is actually the best way to do it in your circumstances.
It's like, can I procrastinate this for a week? No, because I need to get the result ASAP.
Analysis paralysis, that's called, isn't it? When you overthink something to the point that if you overthink anything, think about it for long enough, you're not going to do it. And it's a form of procrastination. Quick actions, decide. I think that's a trait of the best people that I've seen anyway in business. They make fast decisions, but they're also the right decisions a lot of the time. So if you're able to analyze things
the
quick,
situation, think of the different outcomes quickly, and make a quick decision.
You got one more? Closing one? Yeah.
I like this question. So, if you could speak to Cobi 4 years ago with the knowledge you have now in business, what would you tell him? And I know you're going to say, don't do the clothing thing, move to the marketing side, but something different, something you've learned.
Okay. I would say it's kind of that, but I would say
that's the one thing you would say. But
no, I would say being conscious of the vehicle you choose to apply your efforts in. I believe that outweighs talent. I think you could take two super talented entrepreneurs. You could take Bill Gates one, and Bill Gates number two, right? And you could put them one doing something which is maybe more difficult. And he might still do a decent job at it. It might be successful at it, but you could do it in something which maybe is less passionate about, but is a better vehicle to win. And that one, you see the true potential of what that person can become.
Yeah, I think there are.
You have to pick the right vehicle, and I've learned this the hard way, unfortunately. But nevertheless, that's a good lesson. So, how do you think you should follow your passions?
That's a difficult one, because
are you passionate about marketing, or did you become passionate about marketing because you became good at it?
That's it. I didn't have a passion. Like we sell websites. I can't code.
You're not on the playground going, I wish I could fucking sell some websites.
Yeah. I've never been the sort of person to think, oh, I wish I could code, or I wish I could design a site or design a logo and things like that. I'm not particularly interested in that. I'm interested in the end result of what that can achieve for someone.
What you have to do or what you do is irrelevant because you're so addicted to that end product winning.
Yeah.
Anything that you do to attain that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that I think you become passionate about. If you're so like good at something, you're gonna find a love for that because you get
good at it, you enjoy it, and winning is nice and winning is fun. Yeah. If I had to sell ice creams to make money, I would be good at selling ice creams. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds no to Eskimos. In 5 years' time, where would you actually want to be?
I think an agency that's self-sufficient without me being able to sell. I think that's where I'd
full
find
freedom. Do you not think you'd go a bit crackers?
I don't think it's the freedom side. See, I'm already thinking I wouldn't be doing the selling. I would just be doing the operation side of things.
But I don't think you could semi-retire, by the way. And I would certainly fucking hate the idea of retiring. Like, I love the grind.
You don't think you could retire? Ever? I don't think I could.
No.
I think I'd be 65, 70. I'd be sat there bored.
You're in a position, right? You've got enough money in the bank, and same to like we could go to Bali, and we could just take a couple of years out, chilling in the beach clubs. But you
Dangerous.
Well, this comes back to
what
motivates you, right? So people are either motivated by joy. Or no, this is what people get happiness from. Happiness, you're either in two camps. You either get happiness from joy or happiness from fulfillment. Happiness from joy is if me and you, we just say, right, can't be asked with all the pressure of this.
Yeah.
Put all the money in the bank. We go Bali. Me and you, we're on the beach. We're in the beach clubs, under a waterfall, chilling. That's joy. That's an enjoyable experience. If you motivate by fulfillment, that's you're running a marathon. No one runs a marathon and in the moment goes, this is sick. It's the after feeling. And that's exactly what you're describing in terms of it's the after feeling of that sense of achievement by doing something hard, building something good. That is irreplaceable. And for that reason, I don't think you would actually like retirement.
That is a good point. Business is a bit like running a marathon.
It's like a form of
ultra marathon. It doesn't end. There is no actual end goalpost to it.
Yeah, because the goals that you've achieved now, you'd have been gassed with 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, I guess.
My initial goal with the marketing stuff was like just to have one client that pays for my rent in Manchester. And now, like today,
as soon as you hit that though, you're like, right, well, I need the next one. I need the next one. I need the next one. Now I need to build a team around it. And then
today I
it's
signed
consistent.
today I signed 4 clients, and you don't bat an eyelid because it's never enough, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be, and that's what keeps you hungry ultimately, though, and pushing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think it was good.
I think we
really smashed that second half.
Smashed it.